Imagine being told that you must bow down and worship a statue, and if you refuse, you will be thrown into a blazing furnace of fire. What would you do? Would you follow the crowd to save your life, or stand firm in your faith, even if it meant facing the flames? This is the powerful story of three young men who chose faith over fear and witnessed one of the most incredible miracles in the Bible. Long ago, the kingdom of Babylon was ruled by a powerful king named Nebuchadnezzar. He was proud, wealthy, and determined that everyone in his kingdom would obey him. One day, the king ordered something extraordinary. He had a massive statue made entirely of gold. The statue was incredibly tall, shining brightly in the sun so that it could be seen from far away. Then the king made a decree. Whenever music played, everyone in the kingdom had to bow down and worship the golden statue. Anyone who refused would be thrown into a blazing furnace. When the day came, people from all across the kingdom gathered together. Officials, soldiers, merchants, and citizens stood before the towering statue. Suddenly, the sound of music filled the air. Immediately, the crowd fell to the ground, bowing before the golden statue. But not everyone bowed. Among the crowd were three young men from Israel named Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They served in the king's government, but they worshipped the one true God. Because of their faith, they refused to bow to the statue. Their choice did not go unnoticed. Some officials quickly went to the king and reported what had happened. "O king," they said, "these men you appointed refuse to obey your command. They do not worship your gods or the golden statue you have set up." King Nebuchadnezzar was furious. He ordered the three men to be brought before him. Standing before the king, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego listened as the king gave them one last chance. "If you bow down when the music plays, you will be spared," the king said. "But if you refuse, you will be thrown immediately into the blazing furnace, and then what God will be able to rescue you from my power?" The room grew quiet. Everyone waited for their answer. But the three men were calm. They replied with courage. "King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it." Then they said something even more powerful. "But even if he does not, we want you to know that we will never serve your gods or worship the statue you have set up." The king's face turned red with anger. He ordered the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than usual. The flames roared higher and higher as soldiers prepared to carry out the king's command. The fire became so intense that when the soldiers approached the furnace, the flames were powerful enough to kill them instantly. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were thrown into the blazing fire. Everyone expected the worst. But suddenly, something astonishing happened. King Nebuchadnezzar jumped to his feet in shock. He looked into the furnace and asked his advisors, "Did we not throw 3 men into the fire?" "Yes, your majesty," they replied. "But look," the king exclaimed, "I see 4 men walking around in the fire. They are not tied and they are completely unharmed. And the 4th one looks like a divine being." Inside the furnace, the 3 men were not burning. Instead, they were walking freely among the flames. God had protected them. The king rushed closer to the furnace and called out to them, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out!" The 3 men stepped out of the furnace. The officials gathered around them in amazement. Not a single hair on their heads had been burned. Their clothes were untouched, and there was not even the smell of smoke on them. The fire had no power over them. King Nebuchadnezzar was astonished. He declared, "Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his angel and rescued his servants. They trusted in him and were willing to risk their lives rather than worship any god except their own." Then the king made a new decree across the kingdom, honoring the God who had saved them. The story of the fiery furnace is more than just a miracle. It is a story about courage. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood firm even when facing death. They trusted God no matter what the outcome would be, and their faith changed the heart of a king. Sometimes in life, we may also face moments where doing the right thing is not easy. Standing for our beliefs can feel difficult, especially when everyone around us chooses a different path. But this story reminds us that faith is strongest when it is tested. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego trusted God in the fire, and because of their faith, they walked through the flames without harm. That is the powerful lesson of the fiery furnace, a reminder that faith can stand strong even in the hottest trials.